Hi, Ann Cornick from Paint and Porcelain Exchange, and I'm here to help beginners get started in China painting, and hopefully if you've been painting a while, you'll paint along with us and give us any tips or tricks that you know. But we've been working on our snowballs. We're on the second fire of the snowballs this week. They need to be really pale at this point. You don't want them to be, see, they need to be like this. This is my first fire. Do you see how pale that is? Yeah, we don't want a lot of color on the first fire. What we want to do is build it up over time. We're going to use berry or whatever you have that's the equivalent. Now, berry, I did my final fire today. It's wet, but I'll show you. It took me 4 fires to finish this, and you'll see why. And then I have moss and chartreuse. Next to that is a dark green, which I didn't use much, and I don't know if I'll use it a whole lot, but this is the shading green. I have used that. There's a baby blue there. And then the last color that you see there is blue black is back. If you're looking for colors for shading, my favorite color for shading dark color things, like this bowl will be, is the blue black, obviously. My favorite color for shading lighter things, if they're in the cool lighter things, cool colors, is cool shadow. My favorite thing for shading like warm colors is warm brown gray. I love that, and I use it a lot. Now, let me show you how my final fire is turning out. I'm just about to put it in the kiln. I've been working on it all morning. That's my final fire. This is 4 fires worth. And the reason it is, I didn't touch much, but I touched predominantly the background on most of these. Today, we're going to work predominantly on the background and the shadows. The thing I found is that these colors, now I don't know if yours will or not, but these colors for me, when I paint like I did that final fire, the colors stay the same after they're fired. They don't burn out, which I'm very thrilled about. So this is your predominant one, and this is behind it. And this is the other, kind of a secondary one. This is probably the third most interesting one. I made a mistake on my first one. I made this shading in here a little too dark, so I'm going to have to be very, very mindful of that. This part up here is just going to be berry. It's just going to be berry. So you can put that in. I'm using a number 16. This is a Barbara Jensen brush, and I'll tell you, it's fantastic. And then this is how I blend, like this, way back on the tip. Okay? And the reason I'm doing this first is because I'm getting a little of this on the leaves and things, and so that's fine. And bring a little bit down in here as a shading element. And I'll clean up the top here. And then I'm going to put it across the top. It doesn't have to be dark, so don't do it super, super dark. Take your time. If you want it darker, that's fine, but I would say keep it pale because it's easy to get those little lumps and bumps and buildups that you don't expect on this. Okay, without cleaning my brush, I'm going down here and I'm using the blue. This is, of course, blue black. And I'm just, you can make these little guys, see here? You can come up into them and make them a little more interesting if you want. That's fine. But always paint towards yourself if you can, because you'll get it much smoother and much nicer. Now I have to add oil. You know you have to add oil when it seems like the paint's just sitting there. It's not going anywhere. Now it looks like there's a line, right? That this up here is this color and this down here is this color. Eventually, not so much on this fire, but on future fires, I will be adding a little more of the berry to the lower part. Oh, shouldn't have played with that, huh? Okay, here we go. So just pretend, as you're adding your background, that you're also adding your shading. And see, you can add your shading a little bit at the same time. Now this It depends where your sun is coming from. I found my sun was almost coming from right on top on this when I was painting it. So that's the reason it turned out kind of the way it did. Over here, I think I want to add a little bit of blue and a little bit of this. Here we go. Okay, that was my berry. Let me see if I like this or not. If you don't, you can, oh, that's too dark. You can always wipe it off. So remember that. Don't do something and then regret it. Just wipe it off. Yeah, see, I like those turquoises in there and everything. So I'm going to take, I might take a little, there, I put a little baby blue with my blue black. And just gave it a little bit of shadow there. Okay, because these are behind things, so I want to make sure they get the shadow. And I don't want to go too far with this. I want to just maybe go right to here, and then we're going to start doing the flowers. Okay, so here. And now see the same colors on the leaf as there. So I'm probably going to mix a little blue black in with it, because you don't want to have the same color in the background that you have on your leaf, or you're not going to have the color combinations that you're looking for. This is my berry, and I picked up a little baby blue, side load of baby blue, full load of berry. And I'm just trying to tuck it in there because I kind of think it would be interesting. This will not look like my other one at all. And leave those weird brush marks if you do, if you want. There, put a little there, okay. Because I think it adds a little character. Okay, we're going to go back over here now. Now, when I take this blue down, I'm going to fade it out. The middle is going to be kind of a white with a little bit of blue. And I'm going to put a little over here. Okay. All right. And then I'm just going to, if you don't do it at the point that it's still a little bit wet, you're going to have a problem with the background. So I'm just pulling it down gently. And then as I get to the middle, I don't want it to be harsh. So I'm wiping it off on my towel, and I'm just pulling it back this way a little. There, okay? That'll just make it a little less harsh down there. Over here, I think I'm going to use a little bit of the blue. This brush is probably not the best for doing the flowers and everything. It's great for the backgrounds, but it's not really good for the flowers and the leaves. I'm using only square shaders right now. I'm not using anything else, but I'm going to go to this one, which is a 10. I know they sound huge, but my bowl is pretty large, so... And I'm going to go into the blue black, and I'm just going to add a little color there. I want my middle to be dark, so I'm going to take my blue black, and I'm going to put a little in the center here, work it around, just sort of smear it around, okay. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I would like this under here to be a little more blue. And just smear it around, or whatever you want to do. You can do it this way, you can do it this way, whatever way you want to do it. Okay. Because you've got the blue-black down here as a shadow anyway, and then over here, let's get a little more, I want a little more depth in the middle there. There we go. That's better. Okay. Now, we'll look at these leaves here. I kind of like this one the way I did it. This is set up pretty well. And I'm going to do this guy up here because I want to get him. I'm going to put a little blue in him. I missed not putting enough blue in the other one, and it's kind of limited on color. First, you put the blue on this way, and then you pull it back. And that's what'll give you that nice, or you can pull it up. And that'll give you a real nice kind of subtle color there, if you want to do that. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my shading green full load, side load of the blue, and I'm just going to go up here. This is the guy I was working on, right? And just do along the side of him. Get a little more shading green, side load of blue. My leaves are strictly fantasy. They are not really like this in real life. Don't think they are. They're strictly a fantasy leaf that I'm creating. fantasy colors and everything. And see there, I pulled out the side a little bit just to give it a little more oomph. There, okay. I think that'll do. Looks pretty good. Okay. Shadow leaves are tricky. I use a color that I have in the painting if I do shadow leaves. I'd probably do it with like, I definitely would do it with blue-black. So I'd probably do it down in here. So let's get there and then I'll show you. Okay. Where were we? We're on this guy. I want to pull him out so I don't lose the, nope, I'm losing some of the light. I don't want to lose the light. The light is very important on this piece because if you end up doing as many fires as I did, if you don't have the light on there, it's just not going to look as good as it might. Okay, let's go over here now. And I like that guy pretty well. I'm just going to put a little, and oh, I should do it so you could see it, right? Up here, I'm just going to put a little of this color. Okay. Alrighty. And down the middle, let's give him a little more oomph. Oh, that's a little too much oomph. That's better. Oh, come here, you. That's all right. It's still a little strong right here. Using these little guys. Okay, now on this one, I'm not going to worry too much. I'm just going to start wiping out some of these flowers. Making sure that they go over the leaves. Let me clean up this leaf here. It's still, that's better. That's better. Doesn't look like I did it with a Q-tip. Okay, and then you're trying to follow what you had on there previously. But if you get into a shadowy area, then you're only going to do a couple. So this is the center of it. Let me put some green. We'll put some moss green up here because these are really green. Here, they have this is a color picture. You see how they have a real green look to them? Those are the ones in our backyard. This is one I had in my other backyard, and it's a little bit different, but it's the same idea. They are very green. So let me put a little green on there too. Okay. And now we're just going to take and start wiping them out. And that's probably the hardest part is to, oops, I need to get some dark up here. Okay. Is to wipe them out. Wipe them out into the background so that they're uneven. This is the only time you'll be able to do that because this is the first time you're putting the background on. Okay, and down in here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here. Now, you don't have to be real exacting, but it's kind of nice if you have a little bit of suggestion of those flowers and they really look like flowers. So remember last time I said you can be kind of putsy about them, but this time you really want to try to pull out a few that look really nice. Okay, and I want the middle of this to be darker. That's why I kind of made it darker. And then I'm just going to take a brush and lightly go over it, just so we don't have any of those rough edges from the Q-tip, because I hate that. And if you see any, you can go in and kind of get rid of them too. Okay, this guy, kind of the same idea. Here I'm going to do a little more green. So let me get the shading green up here. I am going to put a little shading green in along here. I found with the bowl I paint a lot further back on my brush. A little more of the berry, I think. Oops, that was wrong. When I turn it that way, I really can't see what I'm doing. Okay, there, that's good. Oh. All right. This guy, on my other one, I made him a little too dark, and I don't want to make that mistake again. So I am going to just add a little of this. I like shading green. That's another good one. I'm just going to add a little shading green in there, just to give it a little bit of a different color. Now you can leave it. I was really tempted to leave it at the second coat because I really, really liked it. But I like things really dark. So if you're like me and you like things really dark, you're probably going to have to darken it up. Okay, now again, here I added the dark. Might want to add a little more dark right in here. And then I'm putting the green over the rest, just because I want to make sure that it stands out. And then I'm taking this and I'm just, I've got that berry over that, so maybe I ought to put the berry there. There, it's kind of pretty. Okay, now we'll wipe it out. And this you have to do a little more carefully when you wipe these out on this time than you did the last time. This is more shadow down here. Oh. I was a little fast on this guy, so he's not a real good example of how the wipeout should look, because I think this is one of the last ones I did, and I got kind of hurried because of the time, and that never helps. But, oops, here. Oops, had a little on there. Okay, let's take it off. There, okay. Oh, there's still a little there, okay. So this one's not as easy to pull out and have it look nice as the other one was. But you get the general idea. And then here, it has these little things down here, and it has a, what you call it, that goes across. So make sure you wipe those out a little. Okay, so that's basically what you do. You just keep doing it. This guy I'm actually pretty happy with. I'm putting just a little bit of green out here. With that guy I'm pretty happy with. I think I can just start wiping him out. His wipeouts came out a lot better. You just want to kind of peek at these back here a little bit. Just make sure you get them out. Okay, and you want to get a couple maybe out into here. All right. Okay, so that's that section done, pretty much. You can do a few more down in here if you want. I'm just sort of using my imagination on these. I'm not, you know, it's not set in stone. I happen to like, right here, I happen to like the blue up here, so I'm putting the blue in front of that because I think it makes it pop a little more. And then I'm going to put a little bit of the, geez, that's a lot. This is the blue black. I'm going to put that there. I think that helps. It'll help a little down here because it is blue-black down there. There we go. And then look at it from all angles. Walk away. You know, if you're getting tired and it's not working for you, I'm going to use shading green now up on the top one. If it's not working for you and I'm only side loading, then walk away. Don't, it's really dark, I know. Don't stay with it. I'm going to put another coat on this so I can leave the bright colors for this coat And if I like them, I can leave them on the next coat too. But if I don't like them, I can change them. So, oops, that didn't work real well, did it? There, that's better. Get you down there. Okay. Let's put a little blue green with a little blue up on this guy. I'm going to pull him out this way a little more. I think he'd be more interesting. You can change the shape of your leaves on this fire. There we go. And I want these guys to be a little more pull out. There. Okay. This is a little bit, I need another Q-tip. I have to remember to take my Q-tips with me to Canada. There, okay. Remember, you can just use the Q-tip too to make the leaf like this, if you want. Okay, over here, I'm going to start putting those guys in the background. They're not going to be the primary thing. And here I need to finish this leaf. So let's finish this leaf and then, well, let's do the background. I need to do the background here. Okay. So I'm going to continue with the berry on the top. Here I have to be careful. Oh, that's part of the leaf, okay. And just do the berry on the top. That's the leaf, right? Yeah. Okay. I need more oil. Hit my elbow. Okay, I'm going right over these. Going right over this. I need to add a little more oil. This brush keeps curling on me. It's the only problem I have with it. And when it curls, it doesn't help me much. Okay. It's a beautiful brush, but it's a pain in the butt sometimes. And just go through and add the color. Just add the color. Don't worry about it. If it goes over stuff, that's fine. You've got Kleenex. You've got wipeouts. You've got all kinds of stuff you can do that with. Shoot, it's driving me crazy. I'm going to try a different brush because as nice as that brush is, I might use it to smooth, but it doesn't help me put the color on like these do. Look at that. See how much more color I can put on with that? I can really get through this instead of waiting around trying to figure out what it's going to look like. Okay. And then we'll put a little blue down here. Now remember I said we're going to fade out to the middle. I'm going to put a little red up in here because I don't want to have, you don't want to have a line where it's that color here and that color there. You want to kind of blend those lines. Okay. And then make sure you go over these little stems in the background because they would see the background. Okay. I need more color. There we go. See how I'm changing the background? You go this way, this way, this way, this way. You just keep going back and forth, making little crosses, pulling it further and further as you go. Little crosses. Go back and forth, this way, then this way. And that's going to make your background nice and smooth. I didn't finish that guy yet, but we will. Okay. And I want to try to blend these colors down here where I've got the blue on. Trying to blend them. Okay, now I'm going to take this big guy that I told you about that I sometimes use. color here. Wait, hang on. Okay. And I'm just going to blend. Use C-strokes with him. He works really well that way. And just on the edges of these guys. There we go. I'm not going to leave it like that. Now I'm going to go back and straighten it out. Oops. What happened there? Okay. Okay, now I'm going back and very carefully straightening it out. And then, we're going to take our makeup brush, put our finger in the middle of it, hold it tight, and really pounce hard on these guys. And then start pouncing lightly. That also helps to get some of those lines out. And then I'm just going to lightly do this. Okay, looks pretty good. Do these guys up here. I can switch back to my other brush, my fancy brush. I can take some of the color off of here. There, that's what I wanted to do. Put a little more color on here. And keep going, keep going. There we go. All right. With these guys on the side, you can do a number of things. You can take, if you have one of these stumps, and you can, oh, here, these are kind of too ordinary there. Okay. And you can just use the side of it just to pull them out. And the same here. I'm using this side of it. I'm not using the whole thing. Oh, I can't see there. There's a glare. Oh, come here, you. Make sure you're trying not to get, here. You're trying not to get those ridges that you can sometimes get with that, you know, with the paint buildup, because we've got quite a bit of paint on here right now. And you can putz with that later, and we're going to do it over here too. Wipe it off. Don't let the color build up. And take this and do this, this. That. Oh, well, that was terrible. Don't do that. Just take some time to wipe out just the thing there. If you get a little bit of a highlight, that's fine. There and here. See there? There's a line. I want to bring it so it's not so much a line. Let's bring it over a little. There. Okay, that's better. And here too, there's lines. I really don't like this guy, so I'm probably going to redo him at some point. Let's see, let's put a little more up here. Maybe a little blue on this side to balance it. Okay. And then the final thing you're going to do is just take this and kind of go around, make sure you've smoothed all the background. The background on this, having a smooth background, is really key to the next steps you're going to make now. If I wanted to put, oh, I got to finish this guy. Hang on just a second. Put a little blue on it. It's basically the same as doing a regular leaf. You just don't do all of it. Everything is, and you will notice this too. Oops, here. Everything is basically the same value right now. So the next fire, we're going to change the value on these. So don't get too worried if it's not turning out exactly the way you want it. You still have some time. I am going to work on this guy. I don't like him. And I'm just going to have to keep playing with him until I get him so I like him. I haven't figured that one out yet. Okay, shadow leaves. I'm going to take my regular quill number 10. This is the best one that I know to make shadow leaves with. And how about in here somewhere? Would that be good? Trying to think. Yeah, okay, sure. If I don't like it, I can get rid of it. Okay, I'm going to take, and I'm actually, in this case, I'm going to mix the berry with a little bit of blue. I'm going to test it on my tile. Now, I'm going to make this a little darker than I normally would, just so you can see it. But I would do like this. So you start out, just kind of put him where you want it. I kind of want it there. I kind of want it up in there. I kind of want it to come down here. And all you do, really, is just sort of sketch it in with your brush, you know, just sort of. It doesn't have to be complete. You're just suggesting leaves. See? Oh. There. I don't like that. Okay, I'm just not going to do that. And then maybe you want, and I want sharper edges on it, so there. And then maybe I want one that's more like this down here. Bring it in under this one here. And then I'm just going to kind of, no. They've got to be way in the background. And see how these leaves are? They're really weird. My other bush had really odd ones on it. And then you can take, I don't have a silk. I guess I can use my sponge. You can take a sponge if you want and just sort of correct if you think some of the edges are out a little too much, or they're a little too dark, or they show too much, or you want a little highlight there. You want it all to be a little lighter, you can just tap over the whole thing. And then make sure you don't have, see how I have these dots here and there where they're heavier at the ends here, there, and there, and there. You can even make them, give them a little touch up if you know exactly what the shape of the leaf should be. So those are some options for shadow leaves. You know, I'm not going to leave them. I might. I don't think I will. I think I'm going to blend the color. I like that, but I'm going to blend this color back into the background. I don't like this one as much. And even then, if you blend the color back into the background like that, and you just take out a little color right here, that's the other thing people do. They take their, and I don't have silk here, but I don't have a fingernail either. But if you have, well, I suppose you could do it with a towel. Let me see, because this is supposed to be lint-free. So you put your finger in like a towel or something like this, and you just wipe out. And a lot of times people will, they call this carving. You can just sort of wipe out the color where you want it so that it's, I'm not that good at this, but I'll just give you a hint. That's kind of what I would do. But, and then you just sort of brush over it and say, okay, I like that. But I kind of like that. Thank you. I wouldn't have done that. And then go through and clean it up. That's all there is to it. When you're done with this and cleaning it up and really making sure, I have to work on that guy, then take your finger, go around the edge, and get all the junk off. And do that every time you do it, because the last thing you want is it to be a mess. This is today's second fire. When you fire this and bring it out, especially since it's the first fire on the background, it's not going to it's not going to look like it's done. okay? But this one, of course, I love stuff dark. I do. This is the final fire on this one for me. Oops, here, let me turn it this way and bring it over. And I really feel like, and this is bad because it's a bowl, you can't really see it right, but you get the idea. I really like this better because I like to be able to see, boom, that the leaves, that it's dark in the leaves. I think I may have gone a little too dark, and I can fix that because I only just put some of them. Pick up those brushes, keep painting. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Program. And I hope you'll take a minute to subscribe so that other people can learn more about China painting and we can get the word out to more people. You also can look at the links below. My Paintnporcelain.com website has a lot of freebies and printables for new and experienced painters, as well as studies, supplies, and even some of my hand-painted china. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time.